Welcome to the 83rd NAIA Men's National Championship from the hallowed House of Hoops Municipal Auditorium in downtown Kansas City. And tonight, they play for the Maud Naismith Trophy. It's Lewis Clark State from Lewiston, Idaho, and Shawnee State from Portsmouth, Ohio in the title game tonight. And here's how they got here. In the quarterfinals, it was Shawnee State getting rid of Jamestown, moving on and playing St. Francis in the Fab Four to the title game tonight. Lewis Clark defeated Loyola from Louisiana and then got by Sagu last night easily to reach the championship game tonight in Kansas City. Hi again, everybody. Neil Harwell along with Coach Z, Rich Zavosic. And it's great to have you with us for the title game tonight in the NAIA. Coach, we call this America's toughest tournament for a reason. You have to win 4 games in 5 days. And Coach, we have 2 outstanding teams going at it tonight.
Both teams with tons of experience, and you need experience to win a tournament like this. Lewis Clark was in the Final Four 2 years ago. They returned 6 seniors. Meanwhile, Shawnee State been to the national tournament twice in the last 4 years, led by a very good senior group.
A lot of outstanding players in tonight's game. Let's go to Lewis Clark first. Hodges Bailey is the defensive player of the year in the conference, but last night he got out of hand from the 3-line, hit 7 threes in the Fab Four game last night.
A world-class fiddler off the court. He was playing tantalizing string music on the court last night. 7 threes and has been on fire here in Kansas City, averaging almost 20 points per game. And he's also deadly at the free throw line. Go back to their first matchup against Oklahoma Wesleyan. 10 for 10 from the line, put the game away.
And for Shawnee State, 6'11", E.J. Onu brought his tennis racket to Kansas City. 28 blocks in the 3 games here in KC.
He looks a little bit like David Robinson in his facial features. He plays like David Robinson on the court. He changes the game, has 527 blocks for his career. That's almost 5 blocks per game. 3rd in points, 3rd in rebounds. He impacts this game at both ends of the court.
And there is Mr. Onu, the player of the year in the Mid-South Conference. Just an outstanding conference. In fact, the defending champion, Georgetown, who's been here more than anybody in this tournament. They are the defending champions from 2019. Same conference, the Mid-South. And tonight, Lewis Clark and Shawnee State in the title game. Hope you enjoy it here from the Muni in downtown Kansas City. And it will be the Bears for Shawnee State to handle first. Up top, this is Amir Gilmore. The lob as they go up top to Onu. Snatches it out of the sky, and he scores it.
Attention to detail, Neil. That is the play they worked on in their shoot-around today, and it worked like a charm. Well designed, well executed.
From outside, this is Mitchell. From one player of the year in the conference to the other, Mitchell is the player of the year in the Cascade Collegiate Conference. He's only 5'9". Onu is 6'11". From outside, this is Bradley, short on the shot. This Lewis Clark State team hit 16 threes in the ball game last night in their Fab Four win.
Now they've got 5 guys on the floor at all times who can knock down threes, but the key for them is going to be on a defensive end, and that is one thing that Coach Johnson did not want to give up. And the baseline, or excuse me, the drive right down the middle.
And that was Amir Gilmore, 6'6", 220, as he took it right down the lane. And there's the layup, good by Khalil Stevenson, the senior from Fullerton, California. And now the Bears, 30-2 on the season. Travel call as they turned it over. In fact, they have won 26 straight coming into the game tonight. And there is their head coach in his 4th season, Delano Thomas, who also played here at Shawnee State. They qualified for the tournament last season for the first time, and then because of COVID, unable to play in that tournament, obviously. But here they are in the title game. And from outside, Stevenson with a 3.
an eye on Stevenson. A capable three-point shooter, shooting 35% from beyond the line.
Up top, this is Jones. James Jones has had an outstanding season and an outstanding tournament. On the fadeaway. Rebound by a guy that you might not think pulls a lot of rebounds at 5'9", Mitchell, but he averages 6 a game. There's a three from outside, no good on that shot by Yenner. And there is Austin Johnson in his 3rd season. He's already been to the Fab Four. He did that a couple of seasons ago in 2019. Coach of the Year in the Cascade Conference for the 2nd straight season. NABC Coach of the Year back-to-back seasons as well.
His team resembles him as a player. He was a terrific shooter at Oklahoma Wesleyan, and this team can knock down threes with the best of them.
Yeah, about 38% as a team on this season. And hustling for that rebound and grabbing it is Isaac Abergut. And quickly the other way for the Bears. Abergut from outside. That three goes off the front of the iron, but they get the offensive rebound. It is Jones that keeps it alive for the Bears. Abergut tries to cross it through the lane there and finding its way to a wide open Jaquil Wells for the hoop. A guy that doesn't shoot much on the season.
A terrific unselfish play by Gilmore. He sensed the double team coming, made the extra pass.
Stevenson finds the shot blocker, and even his presence around you, Coach, you know that's affecting shots.
It makes you think twice every time you look at the rim when you're inside the blue.
It's almost as if everything from 8 feet and in is going to get contested as he's lurking in there. From outside, that is Abergut for 3. And Shawnee State goes up 9-5. Both these teams average in the 80s on the season, 86 points a game for Lewis Clark, and that shot no good by Tristan Bradley, their leading scorer at over 16 a game. And that's an offensive foul going against the Bears.
Just terrific transition defense.
And we'll take timeout from Kansas City. You're watching the NAIA Men's National Championship. Welcome back to the Muni in downtown Kansas City. The NAIA Men's National Championship game here on ESPN3. And we look at the recap of the season for this Shawnee State team. As we said, they've won 26 in a row, Coach. That Mid-South Conference is one of the best in the country when you talk about teams like Georgetown, as we were earlier.
Well, Delano Thomas has done a terrific job with this program. In his just 4th season, they win the regular season and the tournament for the first time ever in the history of their program. Now, mind you, their program has only been around since 1988. Their first head coach is actually a friend of mine, Jim Arnzen, who we both went to Defiance College. He was a much better player than I was. And he became the first head coach here back in '88. And Delano Thomas actually was a great player for Jeff Hamilton while Jim Arnzen was the AD. So they keep it all in the family down in Portsmouth.
Well, as you were talking, Coach Thomas probably taught a lot of things to his shot blocker, Onu. He was probably the first big shot blocker at Shawnee State. Coach Thomas is 6'10", and so Onu has to have learned a lot from him.
Coach Thomas held all those shot block records until Onu came along, and he's taught him a lot about timing. His timing on blocking shots is just impeccable.
And there is a foul. That was his first block shot of the game there by Onu. The foul on the floor was on Abergut, and that is his first personal foul. Here's that last block, Coach.
Well, he absorbs the contact. He gets his feet set, and the timing is just
quickness off his
so
feet.
Good.
And so long at 6'11".
He's a guy that you have nightmares about after you play him.
Here's Mitchell finding Stevenson. Not this time. Rebound taken there by Abergut. And quickly, here come the Bears with Jones, who averages about 5 assists a game on the season. Dump it down in low. There goes Onu. Drawing the charge, though, is Stevenson. First personal foul on E.J. Onu.
Well, players are taught that when you're the smaller guy, which doesn't matter who guards Onu tonight, they're always going to be the smaller guy. You feel pressure, you feel contact, you hit the deck. And a good job by Stevenson selling it as he took the charge.
Stevenson has had a nice start to the game. Mitchell from the parking lot. The top shooter in Lewis Clark history from the 3 line. Comes in shooting 40% from the line this season. And Onu inside draws the foul against Lewis Clark. Here's Demik Mitchell.
Another 4-year guy for Lewis Clark. You know, he's good enough. He could have transferred out. He stayed there. He wanted to build a legacy, and he has done that there at Lewis Clark.
He's the most decorated player in school history. As we said, 5'9", 180, the senior from Bellingham, Washington. Went to Squalicum High School. All-time assist leader at Lewis Clark. Onu battling inside and drawing the foul. And it's 6'11" and long right there at the rim. He is tough to deal with. And he'll go to the free throw line. And coach, this is what I really like seeing out of this guy too, is he is a 40% three-point shooter and a 75% free throw shooter, showing you why right there.
And, you know, watch the rotation on the basketball. It spins sideways.
Yeah, it's a bit of a flying object here.
But it's
UFO.
It's amazing. As I watched him in shoot-around today, the one thing that he does that all good shooters do, they have the same motion, same follow-through every single time. And that obviously is the reason why he shoots it so well.
3 points in the game now for Onu. Stevenson to the rim and scoring. And he has 7 points in the game. As we are tied at 10 here in Kansas City in the title game. Going to work is Gilmore. From way outside, that one going down the hatch for Donovan Carlisle.
I thought this was the championship game where guys are supposed to be a little nervous. Nobody seems nervous. They're playing with a lot of confidence.
Carlisle had one of his best games of the season last night. 19 points, 8 rebounds. And he picks up right where he left off in the Fab Four here in the championship game tonight. That's Albright with the basketball, finds himself open, deals it back to Stevenson. And Onu, as they joust for the basketball, it's out off of Lewis Clark. Let's go back to Donovan Carlisle on that 3-ball he hit last trip down.
Well, they call him the big shot maker. Kind of a Robert Horry. He's a guy who just loves to have the ball in his hands at the biggest times. Had 19 points, 8 rebounds yesterday.
His dad was an outstanding player at IUPUI, a team you know very well when you coached in the Mid-Con, now the Summit League when you coached at UMKC. A very good player, and now coaching at Ben Davis High School there in the Indianapolis area. That ball knocked away, picked up, and scored, though, by Shawnee State. Here's Bradley, backdoor cut to Mitchell. Back to Bradley, launching the 3, just a bit short. As we said last night, 16 threes by this Lewis Clark team. Not quite as hot tonight to start this one. And to the rim goes James Jones. Mitchell, Bradley, another try. And this time he got it. Tristan Bradley, the leading scorer on this team, 37% from the 3 line, 16 a game, over 16 on the season, and that one will go against Shawnee State. We've got timeout on the floor. Back to the national tournament right after this. And decent crowd on hand. here at the Muni in downtown. And we're used to getting, when was it, a couple of years ago when Graceland won it in 2018? This place was close to full in the championship game, and we had a buzzer beater in that one. Inside, they work it out of the timeout to Tristan Bradley, who now has 5 points, and it's a 2-point game.
Now that was Albright to Bradley. Two guys who have been playing together since they were in 6th grade.
And then they went to rival high schools and played against each other. But now reunited at Lewis Clark. Here's Onu up over the top, and the rebound taken away by Albright. The transfer from Walla Walla Community College. And his high school that he went to was Clarkston High School. As Lewis Clark right there in the Lewis Clark Valley, basically on the state line, Washington and Idaho. And there's Albright with a hook, and he almost got it up over the top of Onu.
Onu changed that shot. He may not have gotten it, but he certainly did redirect it a little bit.
That ball knocked away. The race is on, and running it down is James Jones. This is Davis from outside. Rebound Stevenson, who's been everywhere here in this first half. And there goes Khalil Stevenson, dealing it back to Albright. Rebound James. James Jones, the transfer from Buffalo, who has had an outstanding tournament, and there he is from outside, shooting 33% on the season. First team all Mid-South Conference. He had a 31-point game in this tournament back in the quarterfinals, and he's got 5 points now. Bradley back to Albright, and they worked it well, and Albright with his first 2.
And that's how they're going to try and neutralize Onu, is bring Bradley or Albright, whoever is being guarded by EJ, try and bring him out to the perimeter and take him away from the basket.
Coach, what are you seeing defensively out of Lewis Clark? And there's that 3-point shooting ability out of EJ Onu. I mean, if he's gonna do that.
Well, that's how the game has changed. He's a 6'11" guy. You know, 15 years ago, the 6'11" guy never came out of the paint. He was on the block. Now he's shooting threes.
Coach, what was that noise? All the NBA scouts watching that deal go down? Here's Jones ahead of the pack. James Jones on the loose and out of hand has 7. And this now an 8-point lead for the Bears of Shawnee State. Mitchell draws the foul. It's going to be on Kobe Johnson.
You can see Onu lining it up from dead on and just knocks the 3 down, and then they get a knock away. Jones does a terrific job of just reading the passer's eyes, making the steal, getting the easy 2, and that is what Shawnee State would like to do. They'd like to make this an up and down game, and the only way they can do that is to try and get something off their defense. But then you look at a senior like Demick Mitchell, who, you know, he knows the tempo is going away from the way they would like to play. So what's he do? He drives, draws the foul, makes a free throw.
Yeah, so important to this team. Back to defensively, Coach. We were talking about Lewis Clark. What do you see in there? There's a nice little step through into the passing lane by Yaner.
They're a team that's going to play pack line defense. They're going to pack it in, make you shoot jump shots, and make you play them in the half court. They're very good, very well schooled getting back on the defensive end. And, you know, you're going to have to beat them by making some jump shots.
This is Latavius Mitchell in the game. The ball is swiped away. Stevenson to the rim. He goes. And I think they got a piece. Getting back on defense was Carlisle, I think, to get a piece of that one. And he's got it back on the return on the fall away. Rebound Mitchell. Mitchell swings it to Stevenson, who leads the way with 7 points. Dump it inside Yaner, ball lost. and into the hands of Wells. Jaquil Wells back to Davis from outside. That's a three. And we'll take timeout. Shawnee State has opened up a 10-point lead.
And it is defense turning it into offense. The unselfish. And the three ball has Shawnee State up 10.
Hey.
Shawnee State up by 10. They're on an 8-0 run after that last hit. That's actually Miles Thomas, who's worn 24 for most of the season, but he's wearing 15 tonight. None of us were given the word on that one, but Miles Thomas, an outstanding player. This Shawnee State team came through the Kramer bracket, as the different brackets are named after the founders of this NAIA tournament, now in its 83rd season. They opened up with the victory over West Virginia University Tech, 76-70, and then they came here to Kansas City, beat Bethel of Kansas, Jamestown of North Dakota, and then St. Francis, Indiana, last night in the Fab Four. And out of the timeout, that shot missing there by Lewis Clark, and quickly the other way comes Kobe Johnson. Swing it to Miles Thomas here, who now has 5 points in the game. Up top, E.J. Onu tries to dump it inside. Ball stolen away, pecked away in there by Yainer, and into the hands of Bradley. And now Mitchell. Stevenson going to work on the block, kicking it back outside. Extra pass to Bradley, and that's a three.
Know your personnel if you're not the shooter. Fromm's not. He's the assist guy. Makes the extra pass.
And the ability to stroke the three for this Lewis Clark team. Onu from outside. And Mitchell, another rebound. That's what he does at 5'9".
The game is flipped upside down. The 6'11" guy shooting a three.
And there goes the 5'9" guy inside, drawing the foul.
The 5'9" guy going to the rim. Lewis Clark is going to be very patient inside. They'll play 4 out, 1 in. They make the extra pass because they always have 3 or 4 shooters on the perimeter. And you can see that extra pass to Bradley, who knocked that one down.
And Mitchell to the line, excellent free throw shooter, 81% this season, 81% last season. Last season was 3rd team All-American, 1st team All-Conference. He was the co-defensive player of the year last year, so this is the guy that does it all for this team. Again, 1st team, and again, the player of the year in the Cascade Collegiate Conference.
4-year guy, good student, majoring in kinesiology.
And he brings his team back to within 5. A couple of much-needed buckets for the Warriors of Lewis Clark State. Came into this game 22-1 on the season. A steal by Mitchell, but they got it right back. Wells did. Thomas off the glass. That's an offensive foul. And taking the charge there is Yainer.
Yainer does a terrific job of rotating over. Takes it right in the chest. The 6'7" senior from Meridian, Idaho.
Coach, on the other hand, what do you see out of Shawnee State defensively here in the first half?
Shawnee State has pretty much stayed home. They haven't tried to double. They've never left their man when the ball is penetrated, except for Onu. He'll go to wherever he's got to go to block a shot. But they're quick hands, and they have created some offense from their defense, and that really is the key to this game.
An eyeful as he went around his world into the bucket. And that is a block by Onu, but a foul as Stevenson took it in. And that's the 2nd foul on Onu. Again to James Jones.
He is so good in transition. Behind his back, finishes with his left. And he's the type of guy that he really wants to get out and run. And, he has found the right system here at Shawnee State. Talk about him being such a prolific scorer, but he had 11 assists in their semifinal win against St. Francis.
Here's Stevenson at the line. And misses 2. So this is an excellent matchup up top when you talk about Bailey going against James Jones. Bailey usually draws the toughest offensive player on the other team. And again, the defensive player of the year in the conference, Onu from outside. Rebound high in the air, goes to 5'9" Demik Mitchell. And the other way. Always has that head up, looking to pass the ball. 5 assists a game on the season for Mitchell. Here's Stevenson, finds himself open. Rebound James Jones. Jones has 5 rebounds here in the first half to go along with 9 points. And Jones from outside, make it 12 with his second 3. Back to a 10-point lead for Shawnee State. From Portsmouth, Ohio, Shawnee State, right on the border there, Ohio and Kentucky. And this one out of bounds and going over to Shawnee State. Look again at this Jones 3.
Jones just playing within himself, never in a hurry. Buries the 3 with a hand in his face.
Jones has scored 20 points or more in 13 games this season. He's been to a few colleges now. Started out at Buffalo, went to Williston State, Montana Western, before finding a nice home here at Shawnee State. He's from Chicago and was all city there. That'll tell you something.
And Coach Johnson talked about him from playing at Montana Western.
Oh, flying in for the jackhammer, Latavius Mitchell, the 6'8" freshman. Out to a 12-point lead now for Shawnee State. Albright backing down the defense. Onu is out of the game right now. Mitchell for 3.
And you saw exactly what Lewis Clark did with Onu out of the game. They go inside out, really try and attack the rim now.
And we're able to get a second opportunity. Jones again, short this time, tipped out. Jones will run it down. And another go here for Shawnee State. Officials talking it over. I guess we're taking a break though right now, Coach. How about that dunk flying in for it there? Latavius Mitchell.
Marion University.
Back. And Shawnee State with the basketball. Rebounded there by Lewis Clark, and Mitchell the other way for the Warriors. Down by 9. They were down by 12 moments ago. But a Mitchell 3. And now Bradley. Rebound to Latavius Mitchell. Two minutes to play here, first half in the national title game. Glad to have you with us. Along with Coach Z, Rich Savosic, this is Neil Harwell, and the putback will not go, and it bounds all the way out to Miles Thomas, and now to James Jones, and they'll have another go. Jones, the hezzy, leave it in the corner. Shot is short, but rebounded there by Gilmore, and a block by Albright, and they call him for the foul.
Credit Carlisle for keeping that one alive. He cannot get both hands on it, so he tips it to a teammate. Now they're going to get a couple of free throws.
And now we take timeout. You're watching the NAIA Men's National Championship game on ESPN3. There's what they're playing for, the Maud Naismith Trophy for the national championship. The 83rd national championship. And Lewis Clark, 22-1 on the season as they play here for the title. They were in the final, the Fab Four, we say, in 2019 under Coach Austin Johnson. They're in the huddle, as Coach said. He went to Oklahoma Wesleyan, and they really created a great program down there under Donnie Bostwick. But it's their 16th tournament appearance, 7 straight, first time in the title game. And actually, that's that way for each team here tonight, as they'll play for their first ever title, whoever wins it tonight. But he was, as you said, Coach, an outstanding player at Oklahoma Wesleyan, playing there for Coach Donnie Bostwick.
He was, but we got to give a shout out to the woman behind the man.
Okay, let's do that.
His wife, who had their second child the day before, or excuse me, the day after they won the game that qualified him to come out here to Kansas City. She had the child the next day. Mays is his name. They now have Koufax and Mays, as he told me he's a huge baseball fan. So 2 little boys, and son and mother doing well. And she's the one that holds them all together, as he said.
Well, yeah, and she was an All-American volleyball player at Lewis Clark State. So an athlete in her own right. And if you like baseball, it's good to be around Lewis Clark State, because they've won 19 national titles there. And the championship is played there.
But we're going to throw this out. Shawnee State's first baseball coach, Al Oliver of Pittsburgh Pirate fame.
There you go. Remember him well. Outstanding player. 7-time All-Star. And we've got timeout on the floor. And we were talking about Oklahoma. Well, now we'll look in the Shawnee State huddle, and we were talking about spouses. And how about Coach Thomas' spouse?
She's a former player at Clemson, and he was a terrific player himself. We talked about his career at Shawnee State. Played overseas for 9 years, won a championship in Norway. He did say that it was his favorite place to play. He played in Brazil and I want to say South America, excuse me, Uruguay and Portugal. And well-traveled, well-schooled, and he's done an excellent job here in the first half managing his big man's foul trouble. And it looks like without something unforeseen happening here in the last minute and a half, they could go into halftime with a sizable lead.
Yeah, Coach Thomas' wife Stephanie played at Clemson, as you said, and they have a son Trey and expecting a second child. And I think of the movie, you're a movie guy, so I just worked in there. Love and Basketball. When you think about a relationship like that, they're probably talking a lot of ball.
Yeah, I wonder who's drawing up the plays, if he is or she is. I tell you what, he drew up a terrific play to start the game for their first basket. But he's just done a terrific job of building this program.
And Demeek Mitchell with the free throw there, 11-point game. With Shawnee State on top, James Jones. Rebound battle for, and coming away with it is Hodges Bailey. Both these teams are good on the glass on the season. Here comes Albright with the left hand, and dinner is served right at the front of the rim. And as we will remind you, E.J. Unu sits on the bench right now. The shot blocker. From way downtown, Thomas. Miles Thomas wearing 15 tonight and letting you know all about it.
He's really screwed up their scouting report. He changed his jersey number, and he's come off the bench and had a heck of a first half.
He's had an outstanding season. The transfer from UT Martin and Walters State Community College in Tennessee. He's a senior from Chattanooga, 6'6", 185. Miles Thomas.
For that last shot, just keep guys away from James Jones, let him do his thing.
Time winding down, first half. Abergut They keep it alive. James Jones will not get it away. It does not count. And we have played one half in the title game. And Shawnee State is up by 10.
Shawnee State just a terrific job defensively, and that 10-point margin really created by some turnovers and some easy baskets.
And we'll take timeout. This is the NAIA Men's National Championship game on ESPN3 from the Municipal Auditorium in downtown Kansas City. Beautiful downtown Kansas City, Missouri. The NAIA Men's National Championship game going on inside historic Municipal Auditorium. And right now it is Shawnee State on top by 10, 40-30 here at halftime. Neil Harwell along with Coach C. Great to have you with us here at halftime. And Coach, how about that first half, your impressions of it? Shawnee State got on a run there about midway through and kept at arm's length about 10 points or so for, I'd say, the last part of that first half, really.
It was interesting at the outset. It was like two prize fighters just feeling each other out. They were trying to play through their strengths. Onu gets in foul trouble. Coach Thomas does an excellent job of managing his foul trouble, but it really came down to three-point shooting. Shawnee State 7 of 14 from the three-point line, 9 offensive rebounds. So those second chance points as well really were the difference in that first half.
Yeah, and Lewis Clark, if they're going to come back here in the second half down 10 right now, I guess the good news for Lewis Clark, and fans have seen this before, they can get hot at any time from the three line. And no lead is really too big for them to go up against when they're hitting the threes like they were in the Fab Four, for instance.
You're absolutely right. And the key for this team is they play the same way for 40 minutes. The 6 seniors who have been together, Austin Johnson has them very well schooled, so they're not going to change anything. They're going to try and put one guy inside, put 4 guys on the perimeter. If they can't score inside, they kick it, shoot the three. And then defensively, they're going to have to shore up on the defensive glass. They've got to start limiting Shawnee State to just 1 shot per possession.
And a guy like Hodges Bailey, you never know. He could get hot at any time, was 7 of 9 from the three line last night. That's what they want, the Maud Naismith Trophy as national champion. Who will it be? We'll find out in about an hour. Welcome back to the 83rd NAIA Men's National Championship game here on ESPN3. We are at halftime. Shawnee State on top 40-30 in the title game. Couple of good performers in that first half. We look over there at Shawnee State. Coach, how about a guy like James Jones in the first half he had?
Well, James Jones was terrific in the first half, and he's been terrific in this tournament. 27 in the first game, 31 in a game win against Jamestown, and it's the 3-ball. He buries, and then he jumps the passing lane, reads the passer's eyes, finishes with the flush. And in transition, he is as dangerous as there is in NAIA basketball. And the ability to shoot the three, stretch the defense. A terrific half for James Jones. And the senior leader, Tamik Mitchell, bangs a deep three. He actually has a couple of threes in the first half, but you're going to watch his second one right there. But a good first half for Mitchell. 11 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists.
You look at those stats in the first half, Coach, you were talking about the three-point shooting. My eye went right to the rebounding in the first half and the job that Shawnee State's doing on the glass.
9 offensive rebounds, and I know I mentioned that a moment ago, but it bears repeating because the Bears are doing a terrific job on the glass, and that has really been the difference, those second chance opportunities. And when you shoot 5 of 16, as Lewis Clark did, that's a little bit below their norm. but they're right on pace. They make 10 threes a game. They're going to need to make at least 10 to pull this one out.
Well, if there's a team that can do it, it's certainly this Lewis Clark State team. The Warriors 38% on the season from the three line. And we were talking about Hodges Bailey, their all-conference performer for Coach Johnson. He only took one shot in the first half. And that's a guy that hit 7 of 9 from the three line last night. There's Hodges right there. And obviously they're marking him up.
Well, Neil, that's attention to detail. Coach Thomas and his staff did a terrific job in their walkthrough. You get to this type of game, you don't get there by accident. It's because you know your personnel, you know your sets, and you try and take that away from your opponent. And Coach Thomas, Coach Yarborough, Coach Trainer, outstanding job in preparing their team in that first half.
Here we go to start the second half. And also want to talk about the officials tonight. Chris Stevens, David Carter, and Rob Dowling getting a chance to go with the title game here tonight.
Yes, the officials.
I have to work that one in there for you, Coach.
You have to bring them up.
It's a big night for them, too.
It certainly is, and I don't recognize any of those names, so that means they had a very good first half.
None of them have thrown you out of the game either.
No,
that's probably why you don't know who they are.
When you don't remember their names, that means they're a good official.
Here's Mitchell as Lewis Clark State starts on offense here to begin the second half. Albright right to work, but Onu deflected that one, got him another one. And quickly making his presence felt, and then runs the floor, and that's what I'm talking about, Coach. Now, the folks at Shawnee State, which they live nearby Lexington there, and there's a guy named Willie Cauley-Stein that this guy kind of reminds me of that played at Kentucky.
Well, you can talk about him. I think he reminds me of David Robinson, although he's right-handed. Just his impeccable timing and his ability to run the floor. And we talked about it before the game. The young man ran track in high school.
400 meters.
And when I saw that, I thought, okay, he was a high jumper. I would have never guessed him to be a 400-meter guy, but that just shows you.
He also ran cross country.
The ability to run the floor when you're that size is just terrific.
And like growing into his body now at 6'11" and 240. James missed it. There's Onu. They stay on the glass again, but Bradley comes away. Demick Mitchell in the corner to Stevenson. He got him started well in the first half. Back to Mitchell. And a foul out front will go on James Jones.
You watch Demick Mitchell, and he strikes me as the type of guy who decides, okay, my team needs me to do this. Maybe passing in the first half. My team needs me to do this, which means I may need to score here a little bit more in the second half.
Mitchell tried to take it at the shot blocker Onu and probably bothered that shot as well. The two players of the year in their respective conferences, Demick Mitchell and E.J. Onu. Here's Onu backing down the defense. Mitchell comes over to try to get a piece. Wells way up top to James Jones. 5 on the shot clock. Hovering and scoring as Jaquil Wells. Their unselfish point guard that makes everybody around him better. Stevenson, and again, Onu there.
I'm giving him a block on that one. I thought he got a piece of it. That's number 5 for EJ.
Foul on the other end as Jones took it in there. It's on Hodges Bailey.
Just a terrific job by Wells. You mentioned he's the point guard on this team. He's a sophomore, yet he's a captain on this team.
James Jones with 12 points, 7 rebounds. Coming off 17 points and 7 rebounds last night. Had a 31-point game in the quarterfinals when they beat Jamestown. And now Jones has given Shawnee State a 14-point lead. Backdoor cut goes Bradley, but Onu was there.
That could be a pretty good perimeter defense.
That's what I'm saying,
behind
Coach.
me. Pressure, 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 because I got the big guy behind me.
Exactly. There's a steal out front by the Defensive Player of the Year in the Cascade Conference, Hodges Bailey. And now Stevenson. Stevenson from outside, and he got it. That's a three for Khalil Stevenson. And that was a much-needed hit from the three line for the Warriors. Mitchell up top working against Wells. Now it's Gilmore looking for anyone as they swing it around the perimeter. Shot clock inside 10, it's at 5. James Jones going to work from outside, and he rattles it home. His third three of the game.
Jones just kind of like a young John Battle, the terrific NBA player who played at Rutgers, just gets to a spot, elevates over the defender.
On the putback, the first bucket of the game for Hodges Bailey. And James Jones, the 6'4", 190 senior from Chicago, now has 17 to lead all scorers. Abergut missing the shot, rebounded there by Yenner, and here comes Lewis Clark. Yenner from downtown. And Gilmore on the move now for Shawnee State. Onu, that's an offensive foul and his third foul of the game.
That's a tough call.
That will be a key factor as we move forward. Timeout on the floor now. Back right after this.
How?
Nice shot of City Market downtown here in Kansas City.
Neil,
and back to that last foul.
This last play is really a mistake by the guard. I know Coach Thomas, get the ball to the big guy. He's running the floor. But in this situation, he's trying to catch it in traffic. Let him come to a stop and then give him the basketball or swing it to the other side. But now Onu picks up his third, and not his fault on that one.
Here's Demick Mitchell, the player of the year in the conference, the head of this team, one of the most decorated players in Lewis Clark State history, getting it started here as they go down low to Albright and drawing foul number 4 on E.J. Onu.
Well, sometimes as a coach you gamble and you win, sometimes you gamble and you lose, and Coach Thomas gambled with Onu out there with 3, and a smart Lewis Clark team, they go right at him and picks up his 4th. Now they're going to have to manage it without the big man on the floor.
Right back to Bailey off the inbound on a nice little look from Mitchell. It will stay with Lewis Clark State, and that changes the game substantially, Coach.
Now look for Lewis Clark to try and go inside when you don't have the shot blocker, the rim protector. Go right at the basket.
And they do with Albright. Showed him a package of moves down there, but couldn't get the shot to go.
Good defense by Mitchell.
James Jones. Rebound Mitchell. For the guard, that's rebound number 6. That's what he averages on the season. Hop step, I'll see you on the other side. Missed the shot, but it bounds out to Bailey. And now Yenner, backdoor cut, and down the lane goes Albright.
That's the difference without E.J. in there.
Jones has been so tough here in Kansas City, shaping up this offense as they swing it around the perimeter. Inside 10 on the shot clock. Bailey went for the steal. Abergut with that shot from outside, and that 3 was a huge hit for Shawnee State.
That was a big shot, the hand in his face. Young man from Australia.
Just when it seemed like the momentum was starting to swing, over to Lewis Clark State, and a big hit by Abergut.
A nice back cut by Albright on the overplay. Nice read and react. Senior with a strong finish.
6 points in the game now. 6'6", 220 senior. Mitchell goes for his own rebound and got it, and he can't get it to go. Albright right point blank. And you don't see that too many times out of this Lewis Clark State team. Point blank at the rim. But they'll keep the basketball with the foul on Donovan Carlisle.
I'll tell you how tough is Jake Albright. He took an elbow right to the chin. It didn't even faze him.
Hodges Bailey falling out of bounds with his first three of the game.
Bailey had been quiet. 7 threes yesterday. This could be a key to their game.
And a rebound bounds out to Stevenson, and here go the Warriors up the floor. Mitchell with the float game working. Cuts the lead to 8. 13 for Mitchell to go along with 7 rebounds. On the move, Thomas. Backs out from 3, tipped out, but over the back. That is Latavius Mitchell, who's called for the foul.
And how about the job by Bailey on the out-of-bounds play? Well designed, well executed. He buries the 3. And then Mitchell always under control, the floater.
Timeout on the floor. Things tighten up in the Muni here in Kansas City in the title game. Men's National Championship game here tonight. Coach, you remember some of these games? We were reflecting on these tonight. We have seen some outstanding championship games. A couple of overtime buzzer beaters in that mix.
Georgetown and Graceland out of Iowa did an unbelievable job. A heck of a run. Mac U back in 16 when Derek Rambo drew first blood and they won at the buzzer. Of course, 2015 Dalton State led by the late Tony Ingle, who passed away earlier this year. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family, and terrific coach, terrific molder of men.
Yeah, and they had a great run when they won the title. And game on tonight in Kansas City in this title game.
Here's the beauty of this, though, Neil. You're talking about one of these two teams, or either one, this will be their first championship. So the excitement back in Portsmouth, the excitement back in Lewiston, palpable.
Absolutely. In fact, for Shawnee State, this is the first tournament they've ever played in, as the left hand with Tristan Bradley. Right at him that time. He's got 10 points.
All right, I'm going to tell you what Austin Johnson said in his huddle right there in that timeout. Pound it inside until number 35 comes back in the game. So look for that to happen as often as possible. And for Shawnee State, they got to figure out a way to pressure the ball to keep it out of going inside.
Ball knocked away into the hands of Bradley. Lewis Clark looking to cut into that lead, which is a half dozen right now. Bradley from downtown. Little strong on that one. Rebound taken away by James Jones. Yeah, a little reminder. E.J. Onu is out right now with those 4 fouls. the player of the year in the conference and the defensive player of the year as well. Over 500 blocks in his career, but right now has 4 fouls and sits on the bench for Shawnee State. And as we said, this is the first game Shawnee State has ever played in the tournament. That's because they made the tournament last season, but due to COVID, there was no tournament. So this is the first playing action they've had in the national tournament, and they might win the national title. Albright packages up the moves. Oh, coach, that smelled like peaches.
Oh, Kevin McHale. He is smiling somewhere tonight. As
I was thinking of Clyde Llewellyn.
Oh, my, you really are.
It's a 9-0 run right now for Lewis Clark State. They're within 4.
Now the inside work of Bradley. Uses that left-handed duck in. The up and under. And guess what? Lewis Clark back in the hunt.
Lewis Clark State on a roll here. They have cut the lead to 4. It was 14 at one time as we look into that huddle. Here's their season recap. As we said, they've only lost 1 game this season. Many of the teams in their conference did not play due to COVID, coach, this season, and that was a big situation as they headed down the stretch. Lewis Clark State playing their season. They're here with a 22-1 record.
Well, it was terrific job of scheduling on the fly. As you mentioned, only one other team in their league played due to COVID, College of Idaho. So they had to make it up as it goes. They go to Arizona. They play 4 games in 5 days. Brooke Hensey, the athletic director, giving Austin Johnson the ability to schedule on the fly. It was like, all right, who can we pick up next? Because you're trying to get to the minimum 14 games to qualify for the tournament. Just a terrific job of going on the road, scheduling, and winning games.
Thomas from outside, high for the rebound is Albright. And how about those 2 best friends growing up, Tristan Bradley and Jake Albright, delivering here over the last few minutes. They try to go to Albright, but over the back goes Latavius Mitchell.
One thing you can say about this Lewis Clark team is it is steady as it goes. You watch this team, you don't know if they're down 12, up 12. They play with the same pace, they play with the same demeanor, and it's because of that guy right there, Austin Johnson, who played at Oklahoma Wesleyan. We talked about that. He actually played junior college for a junior college Hall of Famer in Dennis Helms, and then coached under Coach Helms at Odessa. Got some tutelage under Jim Molinari in Western Illinois. And one thing in talking with him earlier today is, he says, there may be bigger places, but I don't know if there's better places than Lewis Clark. He is making a name for himself.
Oh, nice look inside. Gilmore with the bucket. He's got 6 points now.
Good patience by Shawnee State on that possession.
Leaving it back, Bradley. Three ball hasn't quite been there like it was last night for Lewis Clark State. 7 for 20. It can explode at any time. Shawnee State has 9 of 21 from the 3-line tonight for about 43%. So it's been the Bears that have used the 3-line effectively tonight. Here's Carlisle on the baseline. That is smooth. But that was reminding him of his dad right there.
Tell you what, Carlisle. Big shots at big times.
From downtown, Mitchell! Damique Mitchell has 16. His 3rd 3. And this one goes right back over to Lewis Clark State.
Hodges Bailey, a one-man press. He catches Shawnee State getting careless. You see Mitchell knock down the 3. You cannot go under the ball screen with Mitchell. He'll make you pay, as he did on that possession. And then we didn't see the play, but I'll guarantee you the bench loved it.
Yeah, it happened right in front of that Warriors bench over there. Hodges Bailey, so good at giving up his body on the defensive end. Here he is tracking James Jones. That is a tough guard, and Jones gets to the bucket again and has 19. That is an eyeful. James Jones. Fromm to the rim with the left hand. And I think that's his first action tonight. As Fromm, it almost looked like nobody knew who the new guy was that came in and who had him, as he went right down central for the lay-in, his first two tonight. Jones, and a three for James Jones's fourth three of the game, and 22 points. Bailey on the reset to Mitchell. Mitchell, piece of the lane, whips a pass. And Yenner just missed it from downtown. 8-point lead for Shawnee State.
Shawnee State very impressive in the half court. They're a team that likes to get out and run, but they are executing in the half court very well.
And they're doing all this with E.J. Onu on the bench with those 4 fouls, but James Jones and Carlisle and guys like that have picked up the pace. He checked for Jones, tipped out. That's going to be a foul that's going to go against Miles Thomas. And turn it over to Lewis Clark State. Things heating up here at the Muni.
Back and forth we go. James Jones in his zone, feeling it, and he wants to hold that trophy.
We'll see when Coach Thomas elects to put E.J. Onu back into the ballgame. He sits there with those 4 fouls. And we would like to thank the sports information directors from each school tonight. Provided big help for us. It's kind of interesting preparing for a game with COVID, Coach. We're so used to going to the shoot around, doing things face to face, but Alicia Alexander from Lewis Clark and Kevin Cawley from Shawnee State. And then, of course, the Director of Athletics you saw just a minute ago, Communications, Director of Athletics Communication, Brad Saigon, a guy we work with, and he's done a great job, and everybody here helping us be informed during the game. So just really appreciate the help.
A terrific job in a different type of year. You know, normally you take for granted that you come to a practice, you can talk to people, and with COVID, it's kind of put the kibosh on some of that, but still able to ferret out some information. Also, I want to give a thank you to Tracy Collins, the athletic trainer from Lewis Clark. She gave me some inside information on the team as well. Very helpful.
Back to a 6-point game now. Lewis Clark State pecking away at that lead, which was 14 moments ago. Gilmore from outside. Amir Gilmore tosses in his first 3 of the game. He's only 28% on the season. That's his 6th 3 made of the season, but he shot it like he knew it.
I was just going to say that was, as you said, his number 6. Ice water in those veins, Neil.
The junior from East Point, Michigan, 6'6", 220. Transfer from Macomb College, Amir Gilmore. And this time it's Thomas on the miss, Bailey the rebound. So that 3 ball by Gilmore put the lead back out to 9 with 6.5 to play. Dump it down low. Here's Yenner, and he missed the shot. It's a guy that averages almost 11 a game on the season, and he hit those 2 free throws moments ago. He's an outstanding free throw shooter, Travis is. It's a 9-point game.
Shawnee State is going to continue to just milk the clock. 20 seconds off the shot clock every possession, and then go to work.
And you've got this guy as the shot clock winds down. Jones on the miss this time, and the rebound taken away by Fromm. And here comes Lewis Clark State. Stevenson on the move. Stevenson off glass. Tough shot, but he got it. 12 points in the game for Khalil Stevenson, a guy that came back from a broken arm that he suffered in the conference championship game last season, but has been playing at his best here in the tournament. Showing you that tonight, cutting the lead to 7. Jones on the follow away. Nice seal out there by Carlisle to run down the rebound.
Take some more time off the clock.
Wells off the glass, but he was fouled as he takes it in.
And Stevenson just right around, a little acrobatic move, but once he got the step on the defender, they were a little slow on the switch, and he took advantage of it.
At the line, Jaquil Wells. He's the guy we talk about as their unselfish point guard, very humble, poised, calm. Quarterback in football in high school, where he played at St. Francis de Sales High School in Toledo. In fact, gave his high school commencement speech. Just a special person.
I love college basketball players who play football. There's a certain amount of toughness in them, and you can see that.
Well, Mitchell is that way for Lewis Clark State. He was a wide receiver and defensive back, all-state in football in high school. He's got the ball right now. And launching from downtown, and got him one. Another 3 for Mitchell. That's 4 in the game to match James Jones, and 19 points for Damick Mitchell.
Coach Thomas going to try and get to that 4-minute timeout before he really goes at it.
There's Onu. And that foul will go on Fromm. They say he pushed off on Thomas.
We talked about senior experience at the outset. This is one of those 6 seniors for Lewis Clark and Damick Mitchell, the heart and soul of this team. And that is a big 3 that has them right nipping at their heels.
Off the glass it goes. And the foul on Lewis Clark State.
Gilmore with a chance for a 3-point play, and in talking with Coach Thomas before the game, he talked about Gilmore as the X factor in this game. And you think back a couple possessions ago, he hits a 3-pointer, and right now the old-fashioned 3-point play.
Well, he's also a guy willing to do a lot of the dirty work too. Honorable mention all conference Mid-South. Big comparisons to like Charles Barkley and Draymond Green for Gilmore. Albright rings out, rebound Carlisle. Carlisle's 6th rebound of the game. And he had 8 rebounds last night to go with his 19 points, Donovan Carlisle did. 7-point lead. Gilmore. And stolen away by Mitchell. He had 8 steals in the game last night in the Fab Four. Bradley dumps it inside. Albright whips a pass to Bailey. He whiffed it. And the rebound off the deck to James Jones. And quickly the other way. Gilmore wanted a 3 if he could have grabbed it. Inside Carlisle. He got blocked by the rim that time.
Just mistimed his steps, but an excellent pass.
Bradley. And that foul will go against Albright. James Jones with that rebound, his 3rd double-double of the season, with Shawnee State on top by 7. You recognize that guy, Coach?
I do not.
How about John Stockton?
Wow. He looks old. He looks different. He looks different without his Utah Jazz uniform.
Well, his son Sam, 6'3" freshman guard for Lewis Clark State.
I remember seeing him here a couple years ago when his other son was playing for Westminster. Sam, a freshman on this team.
At the free throw line, James Jones with a double-double tonight, but he misses the front end. Lewis Clark State has crept to within 4 a couple of times, but each time Shawnee State was there to go on a 5-0 run. Here's Albright with Onu back in there. Mitchell tickled everything but did not go. And Shawnee State with the ball inside 3 minutes to play. As they weave it out front. James Jones down the lane, left-handed, wouldn't go. Rebound, Mitchell coming out of the pack. His 8th rebound of the game. Stevenson up over his head. 14 for Stevenson. And they got it back. Mitchell just rings out.
This place was ready to explode. Shawnee State dodged a huge bullet. Now they get a chance to run some clock.
Jones up top working on Stevenson. Now it's Thomas. Rebound, nice box out there by Tristan Bradley. Inside 2 to play. Stevenson to the rim. Another bucket. 16 points tonight for Khalil Stevenson.
Stevenson is just so slithery out there. Watch as he maneuvers around the defense. Sets him up with a crossover. Just gets right to the rim. Watch him plant his outside foot. As soon as he planted his outside foot, the defender came out of their stance, and Stevenson took advantage out of it.
He had 22 in the opening round to get them to Kansas City when they beat Benedictine from Arizona 98-73. He's had a nice tournament. As we said, they had that arm injury last season in the conference championship game. And he's playing at his best at the right time.
Well, the young man wants to be a coach when he gets done playing. He's playing like a coach on the floor right now.
So a 3-point game in the title game. Shawnee State with the basketball. 83rd NAIA Men's National Championship game. Neither of these teams have ever won the title. Backdoor cut goes Onu, but he lost the handle. Right there, though, is Gilmore. Right place, right time.
The X factor, Amir Gilmore.
Bradley going baseline. Up top, Mitchell. Albright, the lob to Bradley. Pump faking everybody and draws the foul on Thomas.
Neil, that was the inversion that Lewis Clark has been trying to do all game, which is to get Onu out on the perimeter. Get him out on Albright. Let Bradley go to work.
4 fouls on Thomas now. Tristan Bradley, 68% on the season. All conference. 4-year player at Lewis Clark State and misses the second. Tracking down the rebound is Carlisle. His 8th rebound of the game.
If you're the assistants for Lewis Clark, you got to be yelling to your head coach who the bad foul shooters are. Who do you want to foul? play it out one more possession, but then it may become a free throw shooting contest.
Gilmore, and this is an offensive foul. Taking the charge is Demick Mitchell.
Gilmore's got to be careful, but the question I have is, please go back to the monitor to see if they were inside the block charge arc. And I think they may actually do that. Take another look at it. See where the defender's feet are. He's just beyond it. Okay. That's a good call. Just beyond the arc.
Gilmore, who's been so big in this game as of late, picks up his second personal foul as Mitchell takes the charge there with 35 seconds left. 4-point game. And it looked like Mitchell was outside of that arc.
You can't necessarily see where his back foot is, but from that angle, it looks like he is outside the line.
Well, this obviously a huge call at this point in the game, and it's going to be Lewis Clark State basketball. And the foul remains on Gilmore. 35 seconds left, Coach. What's the strategy here for Lewis Clark State?
If you can get a quick two go into the basket, you got to take that. You don't want to just come down and settle for a three-point shot. But still plenty of time. 35 seconds is an eternity.
Lewis Clark State 22-1 on this season. Cascade Collegiate Conference. And Shawnee State, they are 30-2, and they throw it away, Lewis Clark does. Big turnover with 31 seconds left.
Miles Thomas got a hand on that, forced the turnover.
They thought that Jones might have got away with a travel up the sideline, and they get the foul. It's Mitchell that reaches in on James Jones. And Jones, who has had an excellent game tonight, will go to the free throw line where he is 80% on the season, has a double-double tonight. He's 2 of 3 from the line. 22 points, 10 rebounds for the 6'4", 190 senior from Chicago. And he's got the first.
That is a big free throw. Jones had missed his previous one.
Two big free throws by James Jones. Quickly the other way goes Demick Mitchell. To the rim, swatted by Onu, and that is his 5th. Mitchell was able to get his body into the shot blocker to draw that 5th foul.
Watch Mitchell as he's going to throw himself. He actually doesn't throw himself. I'm not sure there was contact from that angle. I can see why EJ may be a little upset.
So Onu fouls out of the game with 6 points, 6 rebounds.
And I counted 6 block shots. I don't know if my count is correct, but I think he got triple sixes.
And numerous shots were effective. Mitchell at the line. And he's got the first 81% free throw shooter on the season. He has 20 points tonight. 8 rebounds, 5 assists for the senior. Cuts the lead to 4 with 21.8 left. So, Coach, Lewis Clark State looks over there at Shawnee State and sees a 71% free throw shooting team. And what are you talking about in the huddle right now?
Well, if you're Coach Johnson, you're telling your team, hey, we're going to face guard. We're going to try and get a 5-second count, maybe a steal on the inbound pass. With 21 seconds, it's tough to say, especially when you're down 4, to give yourself one trap. I don't know if there's enough time for that. But you could gamble with one trap, go for the steal, then you got to foul immediately. Or you try and extend the game, which is foul as soon as the ball gets inbounds. And if you are Shawnee State, Coach Thomas drawing up their press breaker, it's tell your team, okay, we have 2 timeouts left, inbounds passer. If you can't get a perfect pass, burn a timeout. Possession is the most important thing right here. And if you are a receiver, run through the pass. Do not give Lewis Clark a chance to jump the passing lane, make the steal. And once you catch it, be strong with the basketball. The possession arrow is in Shawnee State's favor. So if you're strong with the ball, the worst that can happen is a jump ball, and you can remain, you still retain possession.
And the player of the year in the Mid-South Conference, E.J. Onu, is fouled out. They'll play without him the rest of the way. 21.8 seconds left. And Lewis Clark State will pick up full court here. James Jones has been money down the stretch. He's been money in the whole game with 24 points. He will trigger in, and he finds Thomas. And they quickly get to him and foul him. The foul will be on Stevenson. Miles Thomas is a 78% free throw shooter.
I mean, pick your poison. You're not going to have anybody touching the basketball who's not a good free throw shooter.
And Thomas is one of the 3 guys that was eligible at semester. And I'm talking about Amir Gilmore, Miles Thomas, and I can't remember the other one right now, but those 3 together have gone undefeated and run 24-0 during that period when they were eligible in December. And that's been a big key to the season. And he's got both free throws here with some clutch shooting. Mitchell from outside, little short, rebounded there by Wells. Jones dancing away from the defense. And finally, they get the foul on Stevenson. And that'll be his 3rd personal, but with 9.1 left and James Jones on the free throw line, the Bears in great shape.
Well, the fat lady may not be singing, but she's warming up right now.
And Jones with the first. 3 straight free throws for James Jones, 5 out of 6 in the game. Points. James Jones. Stevenson the other way. And he's got the 3. 19 for Stevenson. 4-point game. Quick foul on Bailey. And it'll send James Jones back to the line. So as Jones goes to the free throw line, the guys I was talking about, Miles Thomas, Latavius Mitchell, and Amir Gilmore, they are the ones that are undefeated. The team is undefeated since they joined the team on December 18. 24-0, and this team looking for their 27th straight win. And the 27th one would be the money win here with 2.6 left.
On a night when your number 1 player, your post player, is in foul trouble, you need somebody to make up for him, and James Jones has certainly done that.
74-68, and Shawnee State from Portsmouth, Ohio, national champions in Kansas City.
Well, Shawnee State at their shoot-around today, when the clock hit 0 at the end of their shoot-around, they did exactly what they did at the end of this game. They practiced for that very moment, and it has come to fruition.
Seeing your dream before it happens, Coach. And for Lewis Clark State, another great run. They take another step on their journey as they went to the Fab Four a couple of seasons ago, make the title game tonight. And an excellent season for the Warriors. And Shawnee State, look at what's happened in just the last few seasons under Coach Delano Thomas in his 4th season here to make it to the title game and win it all tonight.
You talk about coaches, you talk about role models in college basketball. Delano Thomas is an unbelievable role model. Young man who had a terrific career at Shawnee State, and then before he graduated, when his eligibility was up, he goes overseas, plays 9 years, comes back, gets his degree, works as an assistant for a few years, and then becomes the head coach.
Incredible story, and we've got Coach Thomas right now. Coach, congratulations on a big win, making it to the title game and winning it all here in 2021.
Man, great moment right here. Words can't express what I'm feeling right now. You know, more excited just for these kids, man. You know, the year that they had to go through, just the sacrifice they gave through this whole year. Just being here early, not being able to get into the gym every other week, something different, something popping up. These guys just staying committed, staying focused. And all we've been talking about is be different, be special, and these guys just did it. Now they have a great example of how special they are. I'm just proud of this group right now.
Coach, take us back to the first year when you made the track down from Columbus Beechcroft High School to play at Shawnee State, and now to be the head coach, win a national championship. Just kind of take us through that journey.
I mean, that's God-driven, man. You know, it's one where I can't make this up. I can't make this story up, man. You know, it was never my plan really to come back and get my degree. You know, but this is where God put me in a pretty dark place, pretty bad place where I had nothing going, man. And this is just a testament of what he had for me. You know, to get to this moment, to have these guys have something special like this, you know, it's really not about me, it's about them, man. You know, these guys are going to have this moment for the rest of their lives, something they're just going to share with their kids, their families. You know, I'm just thankful to be in here with them.
Coach, what were you telling E.J. Ono on the bench when he gets in foul trouble and you got to take him out? What were you whispering in his ear?
Just how great he is. You know, that kid is great. You know, and just a game like this, you know, some calls don't go his way. Just trying to just allow him to understand, man, how much he's important to us when he gets back into the game, how special he's going to be for us and what we need. So I was just trying to re-gear him, refocusing, get him on that next page.
Hey, Coach, take us through the game plan tonight a bit. We call this America's toughest tournament. You got to win 4 games in 5 days. Yep. Everybody's a little banged up when you get to this point. But going in, what was the strategy, and how did you feel your players stuck to it tonight?
I mean, honestly, when you play against a Lewis and Clark team like that, really on, you know, a night of preparation, a night of watching film, no sleep, trying to get it done, there was nothing we could do on trying to figure out how to stop these shooters, stop their movement. We just talked to these guys. It's about us. You know, we just got to stick to our details, what got us here, playing defense, rebounding the ball, and just staying together. Because that was really the game plan coming into it.
Well, Coach, congratulations. National champion Shawnee State, a place
sir.
You played at as well.
Yes, sir. Yep. I just want to tell my mom and my daddy, you know, I know they're watching. Just tell them thank you. All right, appreciate everybody that tuned in. Appreciate all the support. Go Bears.
All right.
Yep.
Coach Delano Thomas here in his 4th season and now national champion. And Coach, everybody has their story when they get here. It's interesting to hear Coach Thomas' story. And you got something else for me.
Well, how about let's put the bow on it. 4 coaches have coached at Shawnee State. Jim Arnzen, who started the program, followed by Gino Ford, coached 1 year, now the head coach at Stony Brook. And then Jeff Hamilton followed him, became the AD, hired Delano Thomas, and Coach Thomas in his 4th year wins the national championship.
Oh, how about that? How about you weaving that all together? How about that, Coach?
Just a terrific run. I tell you, you know, you see so many different styles of the different teams in NAIA. You see teams that just go up and down, teams who press, teams who play in the half court. But it's all about the coaches in this game, Austin Johnson with his team, Lewis Clark, and Coach Thomas just playing to their strengths and getting everybody all on the same page.
And Shawnee State wins it tonight. They're now 31-2 on the season. They were 18-1 in conference play this season. 27 straight wins to win here tonight. Already got their T-shirts ready to go, Coach, as they win it here in Kansas City. And Coach Thomas said it really well. This has just been a season of, I know you never coached in anything like that in all your years of coaching where you had COVID, the players, the coaches. You didn't know who was available from time to time. This had to be the weirdest year, and not just that, but for the campus at each school and the fans and everybody, just to go through this pandemic like we have, and to come through all that and come away with a national title maybe makes it a little extra special.
For those who question, should college athletics go on? Should the NAIA play basketball this year? Just look at the joy in those young men's faces and then tell me it shouldn't have gone on. I tell you, this is what it's all about. This is what college athletics and college basketball should be all about. And the joy, the triumph, the trials and tribulations, all worth it tonight for Shawnee State.
And that's why it's so fun for us doing it all these years, Coach. It was fun again. Always enjoy working with you to cap the season off here.
15 straight years. I hope we get 15 more together.
All right. Also want to talk about the great job our crew did all week long on all the games. Our producer tonight, Sam Peterlin, director Jeff Graham. Also, a shout out to the announcer Nate Gatter that did all the games until our game tonight. He did a great job all week long, our crew. For Coach C, Rich Zavosik, this is Neil Harwell. We'll see you next time. Shawnee State wins the national title 74-68. Good night, everybody.